You're about to see a copy of this one's floor plan, and at a glance, it's going to look like every other rear kitchen you've ever seen. But hang tight, when we go through this, you're going to see that's not really the case. Hello and welcome back, everybody. Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV here with a little bit of a half twist to the traditional rear kitchen that I think works really well. The traditional rear kitchen big slide layout places a sofa and a dinette in the slide out, and then some kind of sofa or chairs or something over on the campsite of the RV, and it provides huge counter space. And this still provides that big counter space, but instead of having 3 sets of seats in a couples camper primarily designed for 2 butts, this one sacrifices 1 set of those seats to actually expand the countertop space further and actually improve the entertainment angle on this one, because most rear kitchens are a 90-degree neck-wrecker entertainment center that absolutely suck. This one places the TV straight across from the sofa. Now, the way that they've done it has some positives, has some negatives, but the thing here is what you're creating is something that has really big, comfortable destination space, absolutely awesome storage. It's got that barreled ceiling to make it look and feel even bigger. You are carpetless and ventless throughout the entire RV, so it's very easy cleaning and pet friendly. It has absolutely phenomenal storage. It is a little bit lacking in campsite window coverage as compared to some other rear kitchens, just being fair with this. It's got a very standard issue bathroom by today's standards, but the bedroom has a really wonky feature that can be kind of cool. It has a Glide-A-King bed, as I'm basically going to call it. It's a 70 by 80 RV king bed, north-south arrangement, that can slide left and right. And in a private bedroom model like this, what it can do is create a space beside the bed where you can actually stand up and get dressed in your private bedroom without needing to haul clothes around the RV and like close windows or sneak around the hallway into the bathroom or anything like that. It solves for problems that other rear kitchens have. Now, as a result, it creates a few other things, and that's why we have so many different RVs. So let me know as we go through this one. What do you think about it? Good, bad, ugly, and in between. And I'll try to do the same for you as we go. If you like that candid approach, hit that subscribe button. Let's get going. And you know, maybe this is nothing exactly new. Maybe I just haven't seen it. I don't know. I just know that I've not seen one done exactly like this before. So I kind of like to get new stuff on the channel whenever I can. Now, it's not like it's a massive departure from other rear kitchens that we've seen over the years. It's nice and big and spacious. It's a 6.5-foot sidewall, but with a really aggressive barreled ceiling that really helps it open right up. But the window coverage in this thing, like you've got a nice window overlooking the sofa. You've got some, I'm a sucker for like kitchen overlook windows like this. I absolutely positively love them. It's something I personally really enjoy. I've kind of talked about this on camera before, but I think it sort of takes me back to when I was just a little fella hanging out at my grandparents' house. They have, the kitchen's in the back of their house with a couple, rear windows that overlook it. And I think maybe it just takes me back to my childhood. I'm not sure. Now, there's some things in this RV I really like. There's a couple things I don't exactly love, and I want to do my best to kind of point out both of those as we go. Now, there's very little in this RV that's like super flashy over the top. This is kind of a just the facts, ma'am, laminated kind of RV. But you can see, where they could, they included some extra storage. I like the radius work they did on some of that cabinetry. And they give us a different method to access the dinette bench stuff here. Now, if they gave us drawers, a lot of manufacturers only give us drawers that reach halfway back, and then half the space is kind of difficult to reach. So this flip-up style makes it easier to reach all the storage in there. A weird thing I noticed, though, you have to know what you're doing with the cushions, because if you look really closely, the left-hand cushion actually slides down behind the fold-up seat, whereas this cushion actually has an extra little spacer right there, and you need to know what you're doing with those to fold it down into sleeper mode. Now, I don't love the pedestal knee knockers. I would probably, for 40 or 50 bucks, swap that out to a set of free-floating folding legs that you can just get on Amazon and delivered to your house in a couple days with an Amazon Prime and commitment package after you're done with your Netflix and chill phase. And, there you go. You can just keep the tabletop and change out the base. Look at the redonkulous kitchen countertop space in this, though. It's silly in the best way. This is fantastic. I haven't closed the slide yet.
This doesn't look like it's the most imposing peninsula countertop right there. And I'm estimating when we close the slide for road mode, we're actually still going to be able to get to the refrigerator, which is something that most rear kitchen travel trailers in a super slide size like this typically don't do. And I'm still going to call this a super slide, but it's a combo sofa, pantry, refrigerator, rack and pinion super slide. It's something that's just been done a little bit differently, and I don't want to miss. You see those USB plugs, a household, or pardon me, a Type A and a Type C over there, one of each. Perfect spot next to that sofa to keep that charged up. The every window that you see opens for airflow with the exception of the window in the entry door, which is this frosted glass for extra light. It is a basic just vent up here, but the stovetop hood does also exhaust. If you wanted to, though, the roof has aluminum trusses, but it is essentially hollow. It obviously has insulation, but you could piggyback power off one of these lights and install a powered vent fan there if you were so inclined. Hold on. Where's my power outlets? I got so enamored with the kitchen counter space, I didn't look. I see next to the sink, no outlets. Man, I tell you, for my money, a pop-up power tower back in that corner would have been oh, I'm stupid. I'm absolutely blind. There's one right there. Okay. I'm estimating, yep, we got outlets under the overhead cabinets, which is pretty common in laminated trailer production. You've got one to the right and one to the left side. Those are also both inverter prepped. So if you do choose to add an inverter to the RV, your kitchen outlets are a couple that could run for you. Another cool thing, this RV is able to be built with 50 amp service and a second air conditioner up in the bedroom. So if you're in those crazy hot Texas, Florida, Arizona kind of spaces, you can help keep that thing cooled off a little bit. I can't remember if I mentioned it's carpetless, it's ventless flooring, it's very pet friendly. That is a trifold sleeper sofa. I think they have a theater seat option. I don't know, which one would you want to go with? Kind of curious. There's not really a wrong answer to that. It's just kind of a question of what works best for you. The converter location I like. If you've never had an RV, you don't understand why that's really good execution of this model, because let's say you go to open this slide out, but you have a fuse pop, which happens especially when it's cold. They're more inclined to do that. If you can't reach that converter, you have to manually override the slide to get to the converter to replace this fuse to run the slide out. Now you don't have that problem. And I like the little entry coffee bar there. Sorry, I try to keep my hand away from doing the pantomime routine as much as I can, but I'm not doing the best at it today. Now, again, I love all the nice radius work here, because like if you stand up from the dinette, you don't want to get jabbed in the back, from a cabinet. You're not going to have that here. It's also, if you bunk your head into it, it's not going to be as inclined to bust you open. Moving on from here, we're making good time today, man. We're clipping right through this sucker. Coming up to the bedroom. This is a very normal, I'm going to call it, bedroom-bathroom arrangement nowadays, where you've kind of got this like rectangular shower sort of situation going on. With, you're kind of, you're stealing from the bathroom a little bit for the benefit of some extra bedroom storage, but the bathroom is typically often seen as good enough. I would probably put myself some towels down there in that bottom right cavity. They do leave you a nice little spot for maybe like a little wastebasket there under the sink, which I think is, again, a smart point of execution. We do at least have a little bit of a Lipitor storage medicine cabinet, not just the mirror on the wall. Something though with this company, if you notice, I'm a little over 6 foot. When I stand in this shower, even with the extremely barreled roof that they have, I'm not always to cleanly stand in the shower without my head in the skylight. And normally, with that aggressively barreled ceiling, you'd be able to do that. But they always mount their shower pans a little bit higher. Maybe it's because they're putting a heat vent under it. I don't know why, but they're set a little bit higher. So if you're a little bit taller, you might want to see this RV in person to decide if that works for you. The toilet space, I was, as a right-handed person, a little bit worried that the space around my right hand wouldn't be the best, but it seemed okay. Now, we do not have the peekaboo I smell you bathroom door, which is nice, but something that you'll notice on these is they build the roof and then set it down on the RV. So what that means is that they're not cutting these trims out around these, where this roof panel and this roof panel meet. That's a piece of molding up in there. And as a result, where they overlap, you see a little bit of gappage up there. It's not actually a structural construction problem. It just doesn't look the best. But I hope you appreciate it. I'll go out of my way to try to point things out. Just try to be fair. Because, man, if I was going to spend this kind of money, I would want to know. Now, up here, this is a 70 by 80 king. A lot of times when you hear me say that in a travel trailer, you'll hear me say you could swap it down to a queen. But if you did that, this bed base under it is always queen size, or pardon me, 70 by 80 king sized. So that makes it a little bit more problematic. Now over here on the wall, because the left-hand wall is closet storage and a sliding pocket door for the bedroom, your TV hookups are in a weird spot. I don't think a lot of people really worry about bedroom TV hookups in one of these, but if that's a concern for you, there you go. And if you look at that brown piece of trim above the bed, that's one of the best areas to look at this RV to see how aggressively that ceiling is barreled, because I don't use the tricky, wonky, fisheye wide-angle lenses. I am happy to report that they have shaved that little like phone shelf above the headboard back a little bit, so you're not going to cold cock yourself if you wake up at night. I did the sit-up test and I was able to clear it, thankfully, without, you know, again, bashing my head in. But then we get down here, and this is where you're either going to go, that's really smart, or you're going to go, huh, don't need that. Take a look at this bed. It slides and glides out of the way. And for some people, that's very, very cool. And for some people, it has absolutely no benefit. Again, the reason that it's doing this is to give you space to be able to like stand up and get dressed in your bedroom without having to take your half-naked butt outside or anything like that. That's the real end game goal behind it. Now, there is storage under the bed, but it's not fully enclosed because the bed slides left and right. It is open on the side, so you're going to want to kind of keep that in mind. Across from the bed, though, you've got some nice storage. And did you notice under those side-hanging wardrobe cabinets, that's actually where you have your bedside plugs, because standing in the RV, it doesn't look like you have household or USB plugs in this bedroom, but you actually have both, and both sides of the bed, those plugs are inverter prepped, which I think is kind of cool. Again, fully private up here in the bedroom, not too awful bad. What I'm personally really curious about is what happens for travel access in this RV when we close the slide. I don't know. I'm going to make a prediction. I think we're going to be pretty happy with what we find. Oh, dude, this is really good. This is, again, super slide rear kitchens rarely have good travel access like this. That is a rack and pinion slide. What that means is you shouldn't be sitting in that sofa going down the road. And this is a perfect example. People say, yeah, what about a pantry? What about a refrigerator in that slide? Are you saying I shouldn't load those? No, you're fine. Manufacturers account for storage that they install. They don't account for a person they didn't put in that sofa, so kind of keep that in mind. However, that being said, it doesn't matter because the dinette is not in the slide. So that is travel accessible. The bedroom is travel accessible. The bathroom is travel accessible. The refrigerator, and although it's a little bit of a dog leg around the corner, I'm going to give it credit. Even the sink is travel accessible. And if you pay attention to where you put things, the way the drawers are located, this has perhaps some of the best travel accessible function I've seen in any sort of, full super slide rear kitchen like this. The only thing that does this well in a little bit smaller, I would say, is probably like a Cougar 25 MLE. But this is really, really nice execution. If you've never had an RV, you don't realize how handy this can be for travel stops.
The towing factors on this one are kind of a tale of two cities, because if you take another look at those weights and measures, you see like around 6,500 pounds empty dry weight, and that starts to sound what a lot of people consider half-ton towable. But this thing has nearly 3,100 pounds of available cargo carry capacity, which gives it a total gross vehicle weight over 9,500. Now, that is going to disqualify quite a few half-tons. So it is possible that some more capable half-tons will find this within their capacities, but she's also pretty long. This is not the shortest way to create a rear kitchen model. And the longer the trailer, the more negatively it affects your towing factor. So kind of keep all that in mind. Now, you don't see anything like specific slide awning prep, but those can typically still be added. I do like how all the windows you see, they do open for airflow, and they are all pretty heavily tinted. Just over here, we do have the black tank flush, and I like that the furnace exhaust is over here on the poop side of the camper. I don't like it when they're over on the campsite of the RV. Now, one hiccup I am noticing of this, like, it's cool that the underbelly's enclosed, and it is forced air heated. This will be our bathroom black and gray outlet, but this is a two-headed sewer monster. You do have a second hookup just for the kitchen gray tank in the back. That's also why when we look at those specs on the chart, the gray water capacity seems way higher and almost disproportionately higher. It's because it has two different gray tanks, and it's easier for factories to do two copies of one tank instead of have a big and a little. So that's how we get what we get. Now, you've got a couple cool things going on here. You've got slam latches for a big exterior front pass-through. You also have a key-like system, so you only need one key to do the door and all the baggage doors and everything else. And look at the size of this, giving us an extra large door on both sides of the RV. And that is super, super handy, depending on, how you have cargo loaded and where it shifts. Now, you might have noticed that motion light flickering. I've got the battery disconnected currently. And the reason that's flickering is this is outfitted with their optional solar package, so the panel is actually picking up a little bit of sunshine. Even on an overcast day, you still get a little bit, not a lot. And it's trying to fire the light. It just doesn't have the juice in the caboose to pull it off necessarily. Now, I want to talk about the solar thing. By default, this does a weird thing. It is solar ready, not solar prepped. Those are two different things, even though they sound the same. Solar prepped means they kind of got started, but you got to finish it if you want it to actually do anything. Solar prepped means you literally just plug in the panel and it works. That's what this is. We'll come back to that in a second. Up here, we're looking at the Vault. It's basically a battery disconnect on steroids, and it greatly, greatly improves basically the front end wiring of this. This company was actually, in my opinion, kind of notorious for having a big bank of relays on the front of the RV that could foul out because they were weather exposed. Well, the Vault got rid of all that, and it drastically reduces, basically to zero, parasitic battery load, meaning while the RV's just sitting there, the battery's not getting munched all the time, while it's in storage. Now, back to the solar thing. If you look up top, you see a single solar panel. This has two solar options. The first one is just adding a 190-watt panel up there on the roof, which you can no longer see because of my angle. The second one is it adds two 190-watt panels and a 2,000-watt inverter. No matter what, this RV will always have some level of inverter prep going to multiple outlets, not every outlet, but multiple outlets in the RV. You also see the power stabilizers, though those are factory standard issue equipment on here. Now, working our way around, you've got the the stable steps, your entry doors and anti-slam. The awning, it looks like there's some wasted space here, but you got to remember it's a pretty long RV. That's actually a nicely sized awning that's just shoved back here. Although the speakers might as well be on the roof for all the good they're going to do for you. That's just my candid 2 cents on that. I don't love the water heater being on this side, but it will give you kitchen water heat pretty quickly. It might take a little bit of time to run up, obviously, to the shower, and that is a gas-electric model, if you're not familiar with how to identify those just by looking at them visually. And this right here is kind of why I call it a little bit of a dual kitchen. Not like totally, but you've got the little mini camp convenience kitchen center on the outside here with the little grill and Dad's medicine cabinet. Now, if you don't care about the griddle, you could remove it from there, have a little shelf that slides out, and then have yourself a cabinet over here for beer 30 in case you need some bottled water and barley pop on your campsite. I do also want to mention as I back up that the stovetop does actually exhaust hot air out of the RV, and look at the Awning arm location. It does encompass that little mini camp kitchen convenience center, whatever we want to call it. Now, if you want to say it's not really a camp kitchen because it doesn't have a sink, I don't know that I disagree with you personally, but that little black circle over there, that's one of those little hookups where one of those water sprayer hoses that is included with the RV, by the way, can be plugged in, but it's cold water only. It does have a walkable roof. It actually has an aluminum truss roof structure, which is shockingly uncommon. It's one of the major weight savings on this RV. It is a 3/8 wood deck roof, though, but it is walkable. It does obviously lack a factory-included ladder. Now, it is prepped and ready, obviously, for those telescopic things, but that jelly ain't necessarily everyone's jam. As long as we're right up and close and personal on this, I do want to mention they are import tires. They're not doing anything fancy or special in the way of tires, tire pressure monitoring, suspension, or anything like that. So for me, this is an RV that I think is something that you could tow around a couple times a year, maybe do some extended stays with that awesome rear kitchen when you get there. But I don't know that I would necessarily personally make this my everyday tower and goer. Couple other quick notes for clarity. The way that I phrased something earlier, I said that your front big baggage doors have the slam latches and the key-like system. All of your baggage door, like your camp kitchen door, has the same thing. And this is an Asdel using RV. It is a what I call single layer Asdel, not dual. So the layer directly below the fiberglass, the outside layer of the lamb witch of the laminated wall, that will be Asdel composite material here instead of wood Luan paneling. If you don't know what that means, leave me a comment and I'll help you get up to speed. Asking questions, it's how we learn. Now, I've been using phrases like traditional rear kitchens or something like that, but maybe you're a little bit newer to this. I'm going to leave you some links in the video description to help out, some for pricing and availability, but also specifically to a couple models in particular, a Freedom Express 274 RKS, which is actually a model that I helped originally lay out when it was first debuted under Open Range, that is almost like a backwards version of this one, and even though I had a hand in that one, I think I may actually like the layout of this one a little bit better. They each got a couple things that I like, but also a 526RK, which is the more traditional version of the layout. And I'd love it if you took a look at those, and on any of the 3 videos, let me know which one you would go with and why. I'd be kind of curious, and of course, let me know where you think they nailed it and where they think they failed it and everything in between. And until next time, thanks again for tuning in, man. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.